All right, fam. Let's get it on with another video. It's your boy Chad Ski. I am him. I'm the guy. It's putting out these videos all the time for you. One of the most sought after videos, or really the best response we got, or the most overwhelming response was, hey, since city skins don't have the debuff attribute anymore, how would you rank those? How would you rank those in different situations? So we're going to go through all that, shall we? I've got a whole bunch of city skins here, okay? And we're going to go through each one, what they do, how they do it. We'll go through utility ones like this one. We'll go through all troop ones, all kinds of different things we can go through and check out and kind of give you an idea of what compares to what. Because each troop type is different attributes. If you run different amounts of marches just based on what kind of your specific is for your account, if you're more of an archer player, or a cavalry player, or an infantry player. So we can go through all that stuff and kind of take a look at it. If you like the channel, be sure to subscribe. Get this content every day, pretty much every day, and it's been a lot of fun. Right now we're getting ready to prep for this fight. We got into KVK just a couple days ago. We've got a little enemy over here in 365, big time. Here's the other enemies in 1718, 3310, and then our allies down here in 2377. It's been a lot of fun, and we're going to get after these city skins. As you can see, right now I'm running the Spire of Wadjet, and that is just pretty much just a training speed one. We're doing a lot of bastions right now, so I just keep that on. And since there's no attributes, this used to have a debuff of cav defense, I want to say. And because it did, I didn't run this during the day when I ran forts and when I chained and did all that stuff, because I do a lot of cavalry with it. So I would run something completely different. But now that I don't have those negative attributes, I just keep the troop health on there if I'm running forts or I'm chaining or doing different things with barbarians. So there's all kinds of ways to do this, and we're going to go through them all, shall we? I've got some good thumbnails kind of picked out for each different type of thing. So let's go through it, shall we? Let's look it up and let's go through it. I've got kind of an enlarged city skin. The first one we're going to do is your best city skins for all troop types, okay? These are hands down, if you run multiple troop types, these are the best city skins to run in the open field, the absolute best. And sometimes if you're running a mixed garrison, these are the ones that you want to run. Okay, so you got all the different ones down here at the bottom, okay? You've got Sage of Limpetship. This is the one that I've just recently got, or the Saga, I should say. And the Saga one's got the 12% all troop attack with some extra utility on the AP. This is the new one on the Wings of Solacloth. Okay, this is the one we call it the Fluffy Pony city scheme, because it's got the horse, the unicorn flying out of a boat, just crazy, but it's got defense. Okay, Dynastic Conqueror has always been kind of the tried and true 8% all troop defense. It's been around for years. This is a great one for the field, and now that we don't have the debuffs on these things, it works out really well. You got Saints Halo, which 5% skill damage. I also put in here Twilight Falls. That's also got the 5% skill damage. Saints Halo's got the AP recovery. Twilight Falls has got the experience gain for each one of your commanders. So with that being said, we're going to rank these, and these are pretty simple, okay? 12% all troop defense is going to be the best. Okay, that's exactly the Wings of Sailcloth is the one you want to do. That's got the best attributes for a mixed troop murder ball. You're running 2, 2, and 2. You're running 2 infantry, 2 archers, 2 cavalry. You're basically running anything that's going to give you 12% defense on every single one of your marches. That's going to be the one. Okay, and so let me see here. We'll go back into game just so I can give everybody a good idea of what this looks like. And this is one I did not get. Now, here's what's crazy and why this stuff kind of matters is that when you, let's see here, we'll go legendary, not engineering, we'll go integration. Okay, so when you have these different types of city skins, this one had a big cavalry debuff. Okay, well at the time I wasn't going to do that because I typically run 3 cavalry. Okay, even 3 cavalries with 6 marches, 3 cavalries with 7 marches. I'm heavy on cavalry. and this had a cavalry debuff. And since they took the debuff off, now I'm kicking myself for not going to get this skin, because I would have loved to have all troop defense, okay? Instead, I generally run my all troop attack, because this was an archer debuff, and I only run 2 archers, and in 6 marches I just want to run 1 archer, so I was getting max value out of that. But now you take away those attributes, and we're stuck with some of the different things that we have to work with. So bringing this thing back up, you've got that when it comes to the wings of sailcloth. That's the number 1. The number 2 one, I would say, and this is a tie, because you got 8% troop defense with Dynastic Conqueror, you got 12% troop attack, okay? And just for reference at how you rate attack and defense, I would take attack of 12% and 8% defense about the same. You're going to get about the same kind of response, and you're going to get about the same kind of in return on your trades and on the different things that you do. So I put Dynastic Conquerors and the Saga of Limfit. Okay, that's the way I would do those two. So those are about the same. And then from here, I would put Twilight Falls and Saints Halo. These are the 5% skill damage one. And honestly, guys, these are great, especially if you're not heavy into Smite. If you're running just like a Luce Alex, and then you got one CPO, you might change to Ragnar, and then you got 2 cavalries that are all skill damage. You got 2 archers that are all skill damage. These are still 5% skill damage boost. These are still great ones to put on there. It's like putting a pendant on every one of your marches, okay? So it's still really, really good and high value. So that kind of gives everybody an idea of exactly what this thing looks like, okay? So there's your best city skins for all troops. That's how it works. Those are kind of the best field city skins, and they make it go extremely well, okay? So now we're gonna go to our archer setup, shall we? Okay, let me change this. We'll go to archers here. So we're gonna work the best city skins for archers. I've got the legendary ones, and I've got the epic ones as well. So I'm all encompassing here. First and foremost, we're gonna put the best one for any kind of situation with archers. Let me see. We gotta find our health one here. Okay, here it is. So that's your archer health 15%. Okay, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, but basically it is this one here. We'll show you. Let me come over here, and this will be a good thing for us to do as we kind of go through them all. These are your archer ones. I've got the 10% ones, I got the 15% ones, I got the epic ones, and some of them have different ratings for different types. Okay, so this one here is the 15% archer one. That's the best one you can get for archers if you're running multiple archer marches in the field, or if you're garrisoning or rallying with archers. This is the one you want, okay? It's always going to be the best, all right? So with that, we will go to the next archer one. Let me see. Where would that one be at? Find it. And it would be the Star Palace, okay? So when we look at this, Star Palace is going to give us 15% defense, okay? We love the defense. 15% defense is really good for archers, and that works out really, really well. Now from there, we're going to have a 15% attack one. And our 15% attack one's a little bit kind of funky, because 15% attack, you know, you'd almost rather, it's Ancient Leisure is kind of how this one works. That's 15% attack. Well, what I would do with this, I would also put our 10% health probably better than 15% attack as far as what you're trying to get done with archers. And then I would do the 10% defense. Let's see. Then I would do the 10% defense along with the 15% attack. That's about how I would rate those. That's kind of how I did it for the all troop type, so it gives you a good idea, okay? And then from there, you can go with the 10% attack, but I will say this, let me see. I will say that 5% health for me is just as good as 10% attack. That's how I would put that one, okay? And then let's see here. Let's add another one of these. We'll make this the E category. We'll scroll down here just a little bit. I'd put the defense right here, and then I put the attack, 5% defense, 5% attack. Attack is always going to be a little bit worse, but that's how I would do the archer side of things. 15% health for archers, 15% defense, okay? And then I'd go 10% health, okay? And then I would put the 15% attack here with the 10% defense. That's how I would rate those together. And then I would also put the 15% attack with the 5% health, 5% defense, 5% attack, okay? That's how I would do the archer combination, okay? So with that being said, it's a little bit wonky, it's a little bit crazy on how we got to do this, but we're going to do it, baby. So now we're going to go to our cavalry, shall we? Best city skin. Oh, now, cavalry's a little bit different, and you guys are going to think I'm a little bit crazy, but I play cavalry, I know how it works, and I know what it does, okay? So with cavalry, we have a little bit of an interesting situation because with cavalry, we do not have much defense in our equipment. Cavalry, tons of health. And what I mean by that, everybody kind of knows this, but let's kind of talk about it just a little bit. So when we come over here to cavalry, okay, the equipment that we have for cavalry, I'll just pull this one up. Okay, we get a little bit of defense here. Okay, we get a ton of health everywhere else. Okay, we get health in the boots, we get health in the Ash of the Dawn, we get health in the Hellish chestplate, we get health in the Var's Control. Okay, then we get attack with the KVK weapon. Okay, so there's just one attribute of defense in the equipment, and that's the way it is for just about like all the cavalry here. Let me find another one where I've got some cavalry equipment. Okay, here's this. You still, same thing. You get defense with the helmet. Health, health, health. Now, this doesn't have Navarre's Control, but it has a little bit of defense. And then over here, you get the attack with the Hellish Spear. Okay, so with that being said, defense, it's a little different than infantry. Infantry, you have so much defense everywhere with your equipment, so much defense. So health is a massive premium with infantry. Okay, you start getting diminishing returns when you add defense to infantry. It's the same thing with cavalry. You have so much health, okay? And I'm not saying you get diminishing returns adding more health. I'm just saying the defense is almost, I mean, you're splitting hairs. It's almost just as good as the health. Okay, so now when we get into cavalry, it's a little bit funky. It's a little bit wonky, okay? So as we look at our cavalry, and one of the things that you've got to also consider with cavalry is the march speed, which is great. But just like we looked at the equipment, when you look at this overall, here's your 15% cavalry health. Well, I'm going to make 15% cavalry defense about the same. I mean, you're splitting hairs at that point. The results you get from 15% cavalry defense is the same as you get from 15% cavalry health. That's just the way it works for cavalry because you have like no defensive stats for cavalry equipment, and very, very rare do you have it for cavalry commanders, okay? So those two are splitting hairs. From there, I'm going to put the 15% attack here. I'm going to put it there with the 15% or the 10% defense and the 10% health of cavalry. That's how I'm going to do it, okay? So you got 10% health, 10% defense is the same as 15% cavalry attack, okay? These might even be just a little bit better than the cavalry attack because cavalry already has so much attack. So actually, I'll put the health up front. That's how I would rank those. Health, defense of 10% on each one of these, and then 15% attack, okay? Then I would put the 10% attack here, and I would add the cavalry health with that. Okay, and to go along with that, let's see, I would do the defense, 5% cavalry defense, 5% cavalry health. It to me is worth 10% attack. And then from there, you put the 5% cavalry attack here. Those are your epics. These are the 5% epic ones here. Okay, so you got 15% health, 15% defense, okay, 10% health, 10% defense, 15% attack, okay, 10% attack, 5% health, 5% defense, and then 5% attack. Okay, that's how you would rank your cavalry. If you're doing rallies, if you're doing garrisons, if you run 5 marches and you run 2 or 3 cavalries and you want to have the cavalry stats, that's the best thing to do and the best way to do it for the cavalries. Okay, so from there, as this stuff gets really, really crazy, we're going to run into infantry. Okay, and this is how I would do the infantry stuff. And I've run infantry, I've done it a long time, okay? And I understand how infantry work. Health is a massive premium, massive. It is a clear distinction that health, and then you have defense, and then you have attack with infantry. So the coup de grace, the best of the best, is your 15% infantry health. Can't get any better. That's what you want, 15% infantry health, okay? And then from there, you got 15% Infantry defense, awesome. Okay, from there, this is where it gets a little bit funny, okay? Because you do have a situation where you have 15% infantry attack, the Supreme Warrior right here with your city skin stuff. You got Crowning Glory that's hitting 15% defense. You got the Reign of Rhyme that gives you your 15% health, okay? So 15% attack is every bit worth Atlantis, 10% health. Every bit of it. It's worth every bit of it, okay? And so, in fact, I would put the health of Atlantis here, and then because attack is such an easy one to come by and not near as valuable for the infantry, okay? What I would actually rather do, if I have 15% attack or 10% health, I would put that down here. I would rate that with 10% defense. Okay, there's my Frozen Fortress. I play this on my alt. I've had this city skin for 5 years on my alt, and I still use it, okay, because it's an infantry account. And so I would say 10% infantry defense, that's where you're about equivalent with 15% attack, okay? And we'll add a couple more here. Let's add a row below, Okay, we'll go E here, and then we'll go F here. Okay, and so when you get to that, the Babylonian Gardens, you'll put 10% attack, but I'll actually put 5% health with it, okay? And then from there, I'll put the 5% defense and then the 5% attack. Is that how I have it? Yep. So that's basically how you line up your infantry. It's very distinct. 15% health, okay? 15% defense. 10% health is better than the 15% attack. We'll put that on the C category. That's going to be equivalent to 10% defense, okay? And then you come down here, the 10% attack is equivalent to the 5% health, okay? That's just what it is. Infantry love health. Give me health, you'll get the best returns, and then you got defense and attack of 5%. So these three are the epic ones for your infantry, okay? So those are the different ways to kind of look at how all this equipment or all these city skins kind of work out. I'm trying to do it the best I can to kind of give you a depiction of it and how it works, but it's real simple when you get into it. It just depends on what you want. Hold on, let me go back in here. And I'm gonna filter this by, this is really kind of cool. You can filter by integration, okay? So a couple of the other city skins to look out for. This is an OL city skin that we got placing fourth in our OL realm, and it gives training speed. Training speed's great, okay? And this is, like I said, if you're training every day, this is something you can just use every day, okay? The 12% all troop attack from the Saga of the Longship, okay? From that standpoint, that is giving you an action point recovery of 5%, okay? So that's very valuable utility-wise. You like that in off-season, you like that in KVK when you're running barb forts and doing all that stuff, okay? We talked about the commander gain of this one. This is a really interesting one, and there's a couple of them like this, okay? There's your troop, there's your training speed that you get, and then there's another healing speed you get out of Persian Dream. This is a KVK shop one, okay? So is Twilight Falls. For fighting, you want to use Twilight Falls, okay? Especially if you're not running a bunch of Smite Commanders and Attila Takeda, all right? But Persian Dream is great. The only thing, it's just really taxing. It's high maintenance to go change the city theme every time, to go heal your troops. If you're in big murder ball fights, you got to go change the city thing. You got to go to your hospital, heal your hospital, come back, change it back to what you were using. But if you're willing to do that, the 3% healing speed is obviously a good value, okay? So you can find those in different areas, training speed ones. These are a lot of OL skins that you've got. And so that's kind of how some of those utility skins work out. But no matter what skin you use, like Buster here, he's an infantry player. He's got 15% health. Pony Cake's over here, she's training. And so she's running the 3% training. You got your farming city skin that gives 5% gathering speeds over here, okay? And so there's all kinds of different ways. Another thing to look at when you're coming in here and you're going into your combat shop of your KVK shop, okay? You have these 5 different city skins, okay? So if you don't have a legendary city skin, all right, you're like, hey, I'm a field fighter, okay? I do run Luce Alex, or I run William Wallace Alex, but I also run 4 other marchers or 5 other marchers of skill damage. Your Twilight Falls is probably your best way to go with the skill damage boost of 5%, okay? And then from there, you're saying, hey, I'm more of a cavalry player. This is an easy one right here. This gives resource production along with it. So the Divine Abode is in the KVK shop. It's 10% cavalry defense. You guys know that cavalry defense is premium. Defense is just as good as health for cavalry. So that is a really good one to pick up if you run 2-3 cavalry marches in your murder ball. Okay, then you've also got this one that's got infantry defense of 10%. Okay, and so if you run 2-3 infantry marches, you don't have a legendary skin, you want to run some more defense or get a 10% legendary skin, this is a good one for those infantry players out there. Okay, and we talked about Persian Dream. This is the one that's got kind of all troop defense, but it's got the healing speed. If you want to grab Persian Dream and you want to micromanage your healing to get an extra 3% speed, that's great. And then last is Fly to the Huron. Now, the bad part about the archer players is that in the KVK shop, you don't get a defense or health one. Like, you get defense over here for, let me see. Oh, I almost bought that. You get defense over here for cavalry, you get defense for infantry, and then for archer players, you get the attack. Okay, which is, in my opinion, not worth it. If you're trying to decide between this and a 5% archer health city theme, then I would literally use the health city skin. I wouldn't even mess with this one. So that kind of gives you a good idea in how some of these city skins work. If you guys like the video, throw a like on there. This creates the debate, and there's all kinds of discussion to go with this. You can join my Discord. The link for my Discord is in the description of this video. Okay, come hang out with us, jump into general chat, say what you want about the video, give your opinion. Guys, this is how we get better ideas. And sometimes I'm not always right. Okay, but I've played this game long enough and I know the attributes for each troop type well enough to know that I can give you as much information as I can, especially new players and even older players that don't know some of this stuff or don't even want to think about it. Just, hey, tell me what to do. I don't even want to think about trying to put time and investment into nerding out on all the attributes. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. So join the Discord, have the discussion with us, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and keep this going with us. And with that, we appreciate everybody. And I hope everybody has a great, great day. We'll see you, broskies.